I don't know if we call it the Esports Lab.
I think it needs
within
a
the business school or the
Yeah.
GMIOT Esports Lab.
I guess we've got business school, we've got the GM, for people that don't know, the GMIOT, Greater Manchester Institute of Technology, which is very much behind this, I think.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they've been graciously behind everything we've done. They've always been in the background supporting us, and thanks to them, we have these wonderful facilities here at the university.
And we have this great network emerging around Greater Manchester, which is starting to punch above its weight on esports, which is really exciting.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, with us being so close to Media City and having a campus within Media City where you're based, we see everything and we see more and more people coming along. We had that FIFA event the other week, FC event the other week.
Yeah, you can't say FIFA anymore.
No, it's gone, unfortunately. It's lost with the wind.
I mean, it's interesting to see that, because I think what's happened over the last couple of years has been huge. I saw a lot of adverts over the last week or so. Cristiano Ronaldo's now backing the Esports World Cup.
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, we're seeing people come in. I mean, obviously, going back, we've always had someone like David Beckham of Guild. Unfortunately, that's now passed away. But we've also then seen people like
David Beckham's not passed away.
No, Guild. But we've now seen, obviously, Max Verstappen has a team. Lando Norris plays. Cristiano Ronaldo's back in the World Cup. We're seeing so many people, these famous figures from traditional sport, coming into our world.
Yeah, and we saw over the weekend we had the British Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Huge amount of F1 activity in esports as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we've got students who are getting involved. I mean, I know people who are running the Williams esports team. They were out there doing bits and bobs. So everyone that we know is getting involved somewhere along the line.
And it's really exciting because it feels like on the one hand they're trying to bring their product into a whole new era with different audiences, different types of experiences. But I guess also we've got a sim rig here at the Esports Lab. I suppose it's partly like the closer we get to perfecting simulation, the closer it is to actual physical racing.
Oh yeah, and it's the more we see it develop, the more people are using it. I mean, I don't know if you saw the reports a couple of weeks back now where Max Verstappen, they had to ban him from sim racing on race days because he was sim racing in the nights before racing, and he was doing it so much because it was one good practice and he enjoyed it that he was forgetting to actually race. So it's fantastic how it's coming along and how it's being kind of developing for us.
It really is, and the technology is just getting far better as well. I think that's a really exciting part of it. I'm terrible with sim racing still. No matter how much I try, I always end up in the sides and crashing.
Can you drive?
I can drive really well. I've not crashed.
You're doing better than me. You're doing better than me. I still can't drive. 24 and I can't drive.
Yeah. Well, you may never need to because they're all autonomous vehicles coming down the road now.
Hopefully. I mean, it saves me a hassle.
Yeah. Well, I think that's quite interesting. Here at the University of Salford, we have our autonomous vehicle lab as well, and so all these technologies are getting quite integrated. Whether it's esports, immersive technologies, AI, all these technologies coming together somehow.
Of course, yeah, and we'd love to see how it's developing. I mean, the more we can get involved with other departments and other schools, the more that can be done.
Yeah.
I mean, just because a person's not an esports student doesn't mean they don't want to play games.
Yeah.
And they don't want to get involved.
Well,
so
I think
out.
it's remarkable to see how many people are coming into esports that 5 years ago I would have said they'd be nowhere near it. I mean, sports is a great example, but even racing actually, people that very much, even in racing, we still sort of talk about the importance of the sound of the engine, and that's been a big debate with Formula E. But there is a real passion for it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I mean, just yesterday we were at a secondary school and we were doing a little talk for Year 8 students on what are the future careers you could go into. And you had a lot of GMIT members there. You had ourselves, you had Siemens, you had BAE, you had the Careers Network. So all these different people, and we took the sim rig with us, and that was the focal point. Everyone was queuing up to use it. I felt a little bad for the other stands because everyone was coming to us before they even went and saw them.
Yeah.
So we had this massive queue, and you saw our Siemens. They were talking to one or two people, and they arranged it all. So it was lovely to see them getting involved. But we took their thunder a little bit.
Well, I'm all up for that. So what do we have here at the Esports Lab? What is it that's in place?
Yeah, so here in the lab we've got 24 PCs. Just behind us in front of the camera we have 2 PCs set up for streaming and recording. These two have a vision mixer, audio mixer. We've got all the kind of different qualities required. We've got 3 cameras, obviously this one here, one over there and one behind us. And then we've got 24 actual PCs. One set up with a sim rig, as you mentioned. The others are just set up and ready to go on any game people want. Some people come in and go, oh, I really want to play this competitive game, whether it's Fortnite or Rocket League or even something a bit more niche like Warcraft. But then we have other people who come in who are there for, we want to compete in NUL, we want to be in NSC, we want to do the bits and bobs and actually compete on a team, which is that whole row behind us. So hopefully we can get more people in and hopefully get externals in. We'd love to see more people coming in here and use the facilities.
Absolutely, it's growing so much. We had the British Esports finals this last weekend where we had, there's so many schools that have their own teams now. It's just extraordinary really to see that happening.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you're talking offering kind of specific courses and everything. You've got about 14 unis. You've then got on top of that all the people who just have their little bits on the side, who a lot of them don't have the labs, but they have the teams working from home or doing their bits. So seeing that kind of all combination of, you've got people from home, you've got these universities, which there's always a little bit of a competitive side between universities.
That's
when you've got all your different bits. But we're seeing it more and more, and that merging of home and school or home and uni is fantastic to see, because it's just about giving them opportunities, giving students and, again, as I said, giving externals opportunities to wind down, relax, or get their own teams going.
Yeah, absolutely. So what can people come here to do? What do you offer?
Yeah, so we've got the SimReg. Obviously the SimReg is set up. We have F1, we have Assetto Corsa, we have all the modding capabilities, we've then got all the other ones, we've got Forza and all that. We've then got, obviously on all these PCs, they've all got your normal esports games, but anything people really want we can install, whether that's something specific. I mean, we've had people come in for really specific games such as Helldivers, where they've done events on everyone on the same PCs trying to do it together to win a war, or it can be something as niche as something like chess. Obviously something a bit more grounded in that actual sports background and accepted here in the UK.
Well, it's funny with chess, so we have the Olympic Esports Games planned for 2027, another big announcement this year, and chess has made it into the roster for that so far, which is off the back of, and the partnership is with chess.com, which has of course become huge, especially over COVID. It became a massive event, massive community around that. Yeah,
I mean, it's really interesting. Obviously you've got that whole mental side of sports, and something like chess, you see so much similarity to esports, because you're not looking at people running, sprinting, lifting weights or whatever. You're looking at people using their mind and using that skill from, I know someone's going to be around this corner, or I know this person's going to try and shoot in the top left corner of the goal. So they have that kind of mental gymnastic side of it, which is a great partnership to see developing. I mean, as you said, chess is only growing, and just seeing more and more people involved with it, especially through chess.com, and that's something we can offer.
I think so, and I think certainly if you look at the research around esports, you see increasing evidence about how capable it is of growing people's cognitive development, how difficult it is, and the number of decisions alone that you have to make when you're playing a game is just huge.
Oh yeah, when I was talking to BAE the other week, yesterday, they were saying how a lot of their time they'll speak to people who have done training within games, because you've got that whole mental side of it, of the STEM development, of your technical skills, your mental skills, and how you use them to then go into a career, and how you think about, well, I've been given this problem, how do I solve it? Let's do this.
Yeah.
And it's so heavily ingrained with what we do, and just gaming in general. I mean, chances are, hopefully the people who are watching this have watched and played a game, and they've probably gone, this puzzle game, or this something from my car, maybe playing Legend of Zelda back in the early days, or playing Mario or whatever. You had something you had to do in a challenge to pass, getting to one of those stars, or to a life crystal, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it's those skills, you don't realise how much they influence you until you then go into a career where you go, I've kind of already got the hang of this.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you, I grew up gaming, and I still sort of have an approach where I want to try every game. Like, I'm not brilliant at anything, but I'm reasonable at most things. And really love just discovering how games are evolving, and it's remarkable. Things like inclusive character design, which has become a big thing recently, where you can create your bespoke character around either your own personality or a personality you wish to fashion, but making sure that it does recognise different kind of personality types and how that affects your own interactions in a game.
Yeah, we're seeing it massively now, especially, I use MMOs as an example. I love myself an MMO, and whether it's RuneScape, World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy, or something older, you're seeing this whole, you be who you want to be. And I mean, you've seen recently a lot of games moving away from the male-female to type A, type B, and it's really pushing that it doesn't matter who you are, you can be what you want to be, as you are in a safe space where you can enjoy yourself. And I think it's fantastic. I mean, when I did my masters, going back a couple of years now, did a documentary on inclusivity in gaming, and it's one which is so fantastic to see that it doesn't matter creed, colour, it doesn't matter where you're from, it doesn't matter your gender. We'd love to get you involved, and we hope that you find an inclusive environment that supports you.
Yeah, no, that's really exciting. And I remember just before Christmas I saw the Grand Theft Hamlet release, so this is the film that brought a theatre production into Grand Theft Auto. It's a hilarious film, really worth seeing, but it reminded me just how so much of what gaming is still in development. Like what it can become to so many other people is still in progress, right?
Yeah. And Grand Theft Auto is a fantastic example because you're seeing obviously 5M came up, was people, especially over COVID, loved it. They love that whole role play of you can be a bank robber, you can be a doctor or whatever it was. And now it's become so major from that kind of community background. Rockstar have bought them and they're now putting it into GTA 6, which I think everyone's so excited for, seeing this whole massive game with these fantastic graphics, but also you can be who you want to be again. That 5M system is giving you so much freedom. I mean, I remember playing it and being a lawyer, and I'm definitely not a lawyer, and I remember making the biggest mistakes ever when you're trying to argue someone's case and just looking like a fool. But it was fantastic. It was brilliant.
And the fascination is really that I teach on biomedical and wildlife courses here. I've had a couple of students this last year look at games like Planet Zoo and explore whether they can be kind of zoo management sort of educational platforms. Really fascinating work, but there's a real passion for understanding the gaming world, no matter what sector you're in, really.
Of course, yeah. I mean, there's tycoon-style games, whether it's Roller Coaster Tycoon or Planet Zoo, or the great one I love is Jurassic World. Jurassic World can never go wrong with a dinosaur. It's always fantastic to see how much they actually influence you and can they be of use. I mean, Jurassic World's probably a little far out there, as unfortunately we don't have dinosaurs anymore. We do have chickens.
Yes, yeah,
we do have chickens.
We do have chickens. So we do a few things over the summer, hopefully to bring people into the Esports Lab. We're going to try to do something on the 17th of July in the afternoon. So our plan is to invite people to come and play, have a bit of discussion, conversations. We'll interview a few people. You'll meet some really interesting people, and have a bit of a pre-summer, well, I guess midsummer get together.
Yeah, we'd love to get you guys down, and we would love to have anybody from business or students or other faculty, anybody who has an interest in it or might want to use it for themselves or for their teams. Love to get you down there, show you what we have a little chat, maybe have a little interview discussing what you guys want to do and how we can help.
And I think what's happening in Greater Manchester is really exciting. A burgeoning community of people that want to grow esports. Lots of schools, lots of colleges, lots of businesses trying to get more into esports. There feels like there's a kind of real groundswell of excitement about it right now.
Yeah, massively. That kind of ties in to your event tonight, doesn't it?
Yep. The events that we have over at Manchester Metropolitan University, an event that's led by and organised by the British Computing Society, the Manchester chapter. So I'll be talking about esports and creative computing. I remember actually when I gave my first lecture on a computer science degree, like there's this belief that somehow computer programmers are kind of not creative, which is completely wrong, I think. We often separate them between artistic and kind of technical, but actually the worlds are pretty close.
Yeah. Oh, massively. You might see a person coding or whatever and think, oh, they're following the formatting or whatever. But when you actually then delve into it and see, you get all the little comments they've got on it. The example I love is if you've ever looked at it was one of those old indie games they made. It was a single developer made it, and they looked through all the coding, and it was really poorly coded because it was their first game they'd ever made.
Yeah.
But on every line of code, there was a little note of, "This is fantastic. Oh, I really don't like this. Oh, this hasn't worked for me." And it's really funny to see that kind of side come into it, and we think they're just kind of behind the scenes doing their bits. There's so much emotion and passion going into it, which really shapes their careers.
Yeah, no, that's really exciting. So tonight over at Manchester Metropolitan University we have this event. Everyone's welcome. It's a BCS event, but everyone's invited, so you're welcome to come along. What else are we going to talk about? Anything else we're going to cover? Everything.
No, I think that's about it.
So we want to set up this GM Esports Educators Network. That's something we're quite keen to do. We know that people around GM are bringing teams together through their schools or colleges. We know there are people around, but we feel like just bringing them together would be a really helpful thing to do.
Of course, I completely forgot. I mean, it's something we definitely want to do. I mean, looking at ourselves, we've got Man Met, we've then got Uni of Man, but then we've also got all the schools, colleges around the area, and more of them are showing an interest and passion, and we just want to support them do it. And if we can bring in educators across Greater Manchester, across even further afield, we can talk about, well, what do you need to start, how do you handle the beginnings, and what can you learn to support you along your way, and how can we help you along the way?
And this is an esports lab, so we want to have experiments in here as well, so research projects, inviting businesses in to innovate with their products or test out what they're trying to do with their games. It'd be great. I don't know how much of a kind of game development network there is out there in GM, but certainly to help people test and iterate their product would be great.
Of course, I mean, starting with a baseline with the GM IoT, we have Cloud Imperium.
Yeah, absolutely.
obviously we'd love to get them down, and then that is just, obviously that's a large company here in Manchester. I'm sure there are many indie companies around that we would love to get you in. Obviously, while this is set up for esports, it can be used for so much more. Game dev, I mean, as you said, research, there's so much we could do. I'd love to do a bit on eye tracking. I think that'd be quite an interesting area to go into. But anything people is interested in, we would love to facilitate.
And it's huge. It's starting to feel a bit like a kind of golden age of esports, especially in the research side of things. You get a lot more big sports science congresses bringing esports themes into their programs, lots of things around the health aspects. As we've got more professional, again, players, athletes need some support.
Yeah, obviously, we're seeing so many people now, especially as you mentioned earlier, that sports side coming in, but we're also seeing that mental side come in. And there are, as you said, recently there's been degrees announced for the psychology of esports, so we've seen that side of things. We're seeing more and more people look at the physiotherapy of esports and that kind of support and well-being for physical side. I mean, there was always teams that have had their own chefs and cooks looking at that healthy eating side of things. So, well, obviously, unfortunately, we don't have that here. I wish we had an esports chef.
Yeah.
But we could definitely look at how that comes in and
Yes.
what you guys can do to help facilitate that.
Yeah, and I think that's where the sports world is bringing some real value into esports by bringing this entourage of expertise around wellness, around all those aspects you just mentioned. So yeah, our first event is going to be on 17th of July. We just decided 2 till 5?
2 till 5.
2 till 5, so you can drop into the space. We'll sign up on Eventbrite, but also you can come along across that afternoon. We are limited in capacity, so up to probably 40 people, but you'll be very welcome. If you are working this space, we'll also perhaps interview if you're open to it, and get some stories about what's happening at GM.
Yeah, of course. We would love to hear from you.
Great, well, we'll sign up. Good to see you all, and speak to you soon.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye for now.
All right.